Hey everybody, what's going on? Chris Williams here, back with another episode. And today, I got it and I get it. So today on this episode, what I thought I would do is provide you with a little context because I've been using something now for the past 2 weeks that has totally been a game changer. And I want to thank people like Tom Buck and Mr. Alicio Wade III, who helped shine the light on me, and now I've had the revelation, and that product is the Mac Mini. Now, truthfully speaking, I've had this now for the last 2 weeks, and I've been using it continuously all day, every day. And here's the thing, I struggled personally with why I should even get one. First and foremost, let me just give you a reason why I had such a dilemma. I have an iPhone 12 Pro Max. I have a MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. I also have an iPad Pro 12.9 inch. So when it came to the Mac Mini, in my brain, I'm trying to think, why the heck would I need to buy this thing? And what use would it give me long term? I mean, would it just be basically another device to say I got it? And in having conversation, there's something that I realized about technology and the maturity of it that made me understand why you should own a Mac Mini M1. So as a guy who constantly creates a lot of digital content and produces a lot of videos, there was one device that I was using all day, every day for every single thing that I create. And that is my MacBook Pro with Touch Bar. I mean, I use this thing for everything. So it normally sat on a stand by Bridge, and shout out to Bridge for the dope stands, but it sat on a Bridge desktop stand that stood upright, and it has been my everything. All of the pieces of content that you've ever seen me create on this channel came right out of here. Everything on my social media, all of my Zoom calls, everything. I mean, I pushed this thing pretty hard because it was my only solution to doing everything that I needed to get done. But there's also something about having one of these that you got to kind of take into consideration when you're talking about why you would get a Mac Mini with the M1 chip. And that has everything to do with this little word called workflow. So this little workflow term is not like I was naive to it. It's just that I didn't understand the power of it until I had a few conversations and the light finally shined on me. See, here's the thing. These pieces of technology come at a premium price. And so the one thing about these, just like this MacBook Pro, is that we tend to want to make sure that, hey, if I'm going to invest that kind of money, especially in the Apple ecosystem, this thing better do every single thing that I want and then some. Now, quite honestly, that's a fair request, which is what I've always had in any piece of technology that I invest in. The other thing is that I'm not hard on my technology at all. In fact, you might even say, I just take very good care of the things that I invest in because I want them to last a very long time. When you start actually getting really serious about creating content consistently, whether it be for videos, any of the type of stuff that you do, the beauty of having a Mac Mini with an M1 chip is that you can have one dedicated spot where you get all of your work done and all of the heavy lifting is in one space. As powerful as the MacBook Pro is, I want this thing to last me a very long time. And to be quite honest with you, I only want to do a certain amount of things on this, even though it's built to do a whole lot. This iPad is really meant for entertainment only. I'm not actually trying to push the limits of this. I am no creative artist, so I'm not drawing a whole lot and doing all types of things. I literally use this for when I travel and when I'm watching videos or other things. This is a very light machine that I like using things for. This has been my workhorse as far as the MacBook Pro, but now I'm able to parse out some of that workload straight to the Mac Mini with the M1 chip. Now, here's the crazy thing about how cool technology has gotten over the last 10 years. Between my phone, my iPad, my MacBook Pro, and my Mac Mini, everything moves in between each device simultaneously. And that is one of the coolest things ever to recognize about technology and where we are today. I mean, the simple things of being able to start a project on my Mac Mini, pick it up in my MacBook Pro, and make a few other cosmetic changes on my MacBook, and then maybe come back to my Mac Mini and finish up, I just think is one of the coolest advances in technology that we have today. But ultimately what this allows me to do is that all of my video production stuff, everything from every workshop to every course to every Zoom call to everything that I do in Ecamm to all of my stuff from in Final Cut Pro, all of my digital images work that I do is all right here in one space and does not take up a whole lot of real estate on my desk. Now, what was interesting was once I got it and I actually plugged it in and got everything set up in a matter of minutes, I was able to tell very quickly why investing in one of these is the best thing you can do if you do this type of work and have a dedicated space, which is the whole reason why now I get it and the reason why I got it. Now, some people care about little smaller things like, hey, if I'm using my MacBook Pro, I hear the fans running loud or things like that, which are fair, complaints, I guess, if you will. But you got to remember, you're trying to ask this small thing to do a whole lot of processing, and that can tend to be problematic. Using a Mac Mini with the M1 chip, I've had several things open, very quiet, little noise. In fact, recording this video right now, there is no noise anywhere, and that is pretty cool. Here's the other cool part and a way to think about a Mac Mini with the M1 chip. Most people might already have a monitor at their desk that they've used as a dedicated space to do their work. Well, guess what? You can take this Mac Mini and it plugs in to any TV, any monitor, anywhere that you want to take it and get work done. And it's basically a MacBook Pro without a screen. Now on my desk, I do have a ultra wide monitor from Samsung. I'll leave the video link that you can use here and see that one. But I tell you, the fact that I can do all of this heavy lifting on this Mac Mini is pretty incredible. And I've had multiple programs opened at one time with no issue. Now, I did choose the Mac Mini with 8 gigs of memory and 512 gigs of storage space. And the only reason why I purchased that much is because, quite honestly, it was on sale. So if you were in the process of trying to consider whether or not you should purchase one of these, there's a couple of things I just want you to think about before you make a decision. One, my current use of my laptop or whatever I'm doing, how much am I asking that particular device to do? Two, am I noticing a slowdown and a reduction in speed and quality the more I'm asking it to do? And three, if I had that heavy workload separated out into a dedicated system, would that help alleviate some of that and extend the life of my main laptop that I'm using today? Well, if you kind of ask those 3 questions, this right here is a really good investment. And honestly, it's so freaking cool. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to give me a share, like, or subscribe, or leave a comment below and tell me what would be your reason for having a dedicated space of the Mac Mini with the M1 chip. And then also, how have you found, if you have one, the best use cases for yourself? Take care, and I'll catch you in the next video.